York or California or something. I'm from LA. And so I'm looking at this group here in Salt Lake City, and I just cannot believe the diversity. Is it not beautiful? It is beautiful. Yes, that tells us that we can have diverse groups gathering if we're intentional. It's beautiful. And we're here for so there's one person, really. The main reason why we're all here, and I want to introduce her real quick. So if you will, ladies and gentlemen, welcome Senior Vice President of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion for Zions Bank, and the founder of the Hardware Creative Collective, to the stage, Sui Lei Pinocchio.
Welcome everyone. Thank you so much, Molly, for that warm introduction. Welcome to the Hardware. It is my honor to invite you all into the sexiest library on the planet. Yeah? So I work at Zions Bank, and I don't necessarily identify as being up there, but somehow I work in a bank. I don't necessarily identify as a poet, but I write poetry once in a while. I do, however, identify as being a creative. Throughout this evening, we'll be honoring creatives in our community. And I invite all of you here visiting us today to think about your creative process. It is a shared identity that is bringing all of us together this evening. Now, the vision for this evening came to me in this library, sitting on that chase, next to that fireplace. And this is what came out. Dearly beloved, we gather here this evening to honor creatives and to rethink how we think, act, and live. People of color will move to the state of Utah for economic opportunity, but what's going to keep them here is community. You know when you step into the arena and your so-called partner sees nothing but competition and all that passive-aggressive stuff, so as to create all this friction in the workplace? Talk to me. Why are you smiling at me? You hate me. I don't trust you because everything I say or do you misconstrue to discredit me and benefit you. As easy as it would be for me to expose your insecurities, that suit you got on, green with envy, remains to be seen, and I'm like, you need to call KB. He will hook you up with a custom design, a suit for you that will change your life, so you can stop disrupting mine. We have all been there, which is why we have come to care about culture. The people in this room drive the culture in Utah. Throughout this evening, may we strengthen our conviction in believing that building community creates opportunity, and community will feed our seed of creativity. In community, we will turn our frustration into motivation, competition into collaboration, social distance into connection, complacency into creative ideation. In the end, our Creator will prevail, and our competition will have nothing left to sell because the only thing on the market will be truth, and that false narrative they're selling will never live. This is why we created the Hardware Creative Collective, to foster and cultivate everything within us that is great. Inspiration, intersection, innovation. As creatives, we are responsible for offering the invocation and the benediction. Even when the expectation is perfection, we recognize our power lies in embracing our imperfections. That is healthy. And our health is our wealth. Exceptionalism is our bare minimum, and we decide to what extent our drive will be driven. Together, we will reap the seeds that we sow. Grief will turn into growth. Fear tactics will become old. Heartbreak will lead us to know that despair can turn into hope. And creative real estate will be sold. Oh, and the value of our equity will be determined by my brother and sister sitting next to me, Brandy, Stacy, Mario, Fissy, Hong, Catlin, Cosrow, and Ashley. We honor the many ways in which your creative talents have blessed our community. May we each know our path forward will be in unity. We will meet at the intersection of inspiration, intellectual stimulation, and personal revelation, and outpours the net positive of innovation. Our differences will become the inception of our collective creative genius. And the only thing left between us will be time and space to create. May this be our intention this evening, that each one of us knows the very essence of our presence is excellence.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing Joe Ortiz Roddy from Los Angeles, California. That's where I'm from, that's where I'm living, aka Big Mijo, known as one of the co-creators of Crump, performing one of his own custom creations to It's a Man's World by Seal.
Yes, sir. Come on.
This is a man's world. This is a man's world. But it wouldn't mean nothing. Nothing. Without a woman or a girl.
Yeah.
See, man in the car to take us over the road. Man in the trains to carry the heavy load.
Come on. Whoa.
Tonight to take us out of the dark. Man in the boat for water like no one made the earth. This is a man's world. A man's world. It would mean nothing. Nothing. Not a woman or a girl. Man thinks about a little baby girl and a baby boy. Man makes them happy, 'cause man makes them toys. And after man's made everything he can. You know that man makes that money to buy another man. This is a man's world, but it wouldn't mean nothing. That was beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to officially introduce myself, Malney Bonner. I'll be the voice that carries you through the evening, and I also want to welcome you to this year's Hardware Creative Collective. And the Hardware Creative Collective is a community of creatives who gather to stimulate and cultivate their seeds of creativity through inspiration, intersection, and innovation. Our mission and vision is to amplify the stories of creatives in our community while making significant investments in our human capital, social capital, and financial capital. This year, we honor 7 creatives in our community, representing a diversity of talents, backgrounds, cultures, and industries. In addition to our 7 honorees, we will honor a creative community organization that has been serving our local community for nearly a century. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the 2023 Hardware Creative Collective, Creative Community Organization honoree, Centro Cívico Mexicano. Here we go.
My name is Randy Farmer. I'm the president and CEO of Centro Cívico Mexicano in Salt Lake City, Utah, where our mission is to save lives, whether it's here at Centro Cívico Mexicano or in everything that I do. And that is the thing that I do with all my heart. I moved here believing that it was more mainstream America. I was delighted to find that there were a lot of Hispanics here in the state of Utah. Centro Cívico Mexicano was established so that the people could gather and celebrate their cultures, their Mexican holidays, and also get involved in politics. I'm a survivor of human trafficking and domestic violence, so I've always kind of had a kinship to survivors of different crimes, and so I made a promise to myself that after I got back on my feet, I would become an advocate and help victims of crime like myself. I have written literally hundreds of curriculum for law enforcement, faith leaders, journalism students. I started a program here at Centro Cívico Mexicano that is called Creative Healing for Survivors, and that's an art therapy program. I've dedicated my life to victims, and one of the best rewards that I receive is when someone chases me down the aisle at a grocery store and says, "I know who you are. You're Brandy Farmer. You saved my life." That is what I do. I inspire people. I feel like it's important for us to all work together because together we're a lot stronger. It's such a tremendous thing to be honored. Thank you so much for giving this. It really belongs to all those that have been there with me.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the president of Centro Cívico Mexicano, Brandy Farmer. Give us 1 second. What's up here? Yep.
Thank you so much for this great honor. I have dedicated my life to victims of crime and have done so much. If any of you here have ever heard of Violence Against Women Act in Congress, I was there at the very beginning of it. I collected stories for Senator Hatch and Joe Biden for them to pass the National Congressional Violence Against Women Act, also called VAWA. I was one of 2 survivors that was invited to the press conference, which was held right here in Salt Lake City at the YWCA. And I just want to tell you a little bit about my background because I'm Mexicana and proud to be a Latina. But when I was going to school, and I remember signing up for to take a typing class, the typing teacher told me, "You don't need to take this class because you'll never be hired as a secretary." And so I didn't take the class. I do this kind of thing, but I hire my own secretaries to do the program. Some of them are men and women. But all people, I am madly in love with humanity. I have dedicated my life to this earth, to the arts, to survivors, to everyone. And just yesterday, while I was trying to leave work, I had 2 calls from victims. And I take those calls 24/7. I'm retired from the Utah Attorney General's office. I was the director and supervised over 2,000 people across the state. They were mayors, judges, doctors, police officers, therapists, faith leaders, private citizens, survivors. We educated over 500,000 people in the state of Utah. And when we talk about creative, I was lucky enough to have Jan Graham as the Attorney General at the time. And when she couldn't go to Congress or to Washington with the other attorneys general, she would send me. and there I was, standing with the other attorneys general, speaking about victims of crime. I was also recognized for having the best program in the United States. I've spoken many times about victims of crime because we learn from them. And I'm here to tell you that when someone says they're a survivor, please don't roll your eyes. Please just listen, and especially if they're victims, listen and believe them. But I also want to tell you about Centro Cívico Mexicano because it is now about 90 years old. It was established by the Mexicans that were invited here to work during, and by the way, this was Mexico, and I think some of you already know that. But anyway, but they were invited here to come and work in the mines and the railroads because it was, our soldiers went to war on the other side of the earth. But I still take, many calls. I'm retired, however, I continue to work with Gloria. She's over here, Gloria. She and I educate the staff and the judges in the administration of the courts. We're now holding court at Centro Cívico Mexicano one day out of the week, out of the month, because they have really, they've changed some of the policies as some of the work that we've done there. But I continue, and now the only thing I can tell you is that when somebody tries to stop you, go beyond that. I say, I flow like water. If they try to stop me and put me in a jar, I knock it over and I go around. And so that's what I want you to do. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Brandy.
All right, thank you.
Before you step off, can I just tell you, Brandy, as part of the Hardware Creative Collective's investment strategy, we will be making an investment into Centro Cívico Mexicano in an effort to sustain the important work that you're doing in the community. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the 2023 Comcast Rise winner and Hardware Creative and Corporate Diversity, founder of Stacy Speaks and manager of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion for the Utah Jazz, Stacy Pernell.
I am the first ever Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Manager for the Utah Jazz, and I'm the founder of Awesome Autistic Ogden. And the timing with when they created the role and the timing with where I was at this point in my life, it all just lined up. This job found me because really I had my own company. I was chugging along as a solopreneur, doing trainings all over the country, seeing this opportunity with the Utah Jazz. If I could have written a job description for my dream job, it would have been this. I saw this as an opportunity to take my passions, take what I'm doing, and grow it on a much bigger scale. I got into diversity, equity, and inclusion a few years ago, but the reality is it's been a part of my entire life. Being biracial, I never really quite knew where I fit in. I wasn't sure if I was on the white side or the brown side or which one I was more of, and it really shaped my lens and the way I saw the world and the way that I knew the world would treat me. The reason I got more involved in it was my son, who is 17, got a diagnosis of autism when he was 4 years old. So the experience of raising someone who is neurodiverse, who has cognitive differences and disabilities, the world was not created for people like him. And with my experiences growing up being kind of otherized and then seeing the experiences my son was going through, that really lit a flame for me. And pushed me to want to make the world a better place, a safer, more inclusive place where everyone has a sense of belonging. Being the first ever diversity, equity, and inclusion manager for the Utah Jazz is truly an unexpected dream come true. I hope that through my work with the Utah Jazz, that our employees will always have a sense of belonging and inclusion in the workplace. They can show up and feel like we want them to be their authentic selves. And beyond that, I want every person who ever comes to one of our games to feel the same way. We have real opportunity with this organization to have influence, not just for the Jazz as an NBA team, but for who we are in Utah and what we can help create in this community.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the 2023 Comcast Business Small Minority Business Person of the Year awardee and Hardware Creative and Architectural Woodwork, founder of Ironwood Mill, Mario Castillo.
Most people, when they think you're a woodworker, they envision a shop that's filled with sawdust and just dusty. There's a lot of innovation in the industry itself, in technology and different practices, equipment that provide greater results. There's better ways of doing things that will accomplish a lot more. I was born in Mexico. My grandparents lived here in Utah, so my mother always thought that there would be really good value in having me come and live with them so I could learn English and learn the culture. So I ended up moving to Utah. I had a passion for auto body. After working in that industry for a while, I decided to leave just because I wanted to implement some ideas and do things differently, and also pursue the financial freedom that comes with owning your business. Ironwood Mill was established in 2018. We produce architectural cabinetry, countertops, moldings, reception desk, and everything related in that sense. As the needs started to grow in the company, I started looking into innovating and bringing in new technology to help with the execution of our daily production. So I purchased software that allowed us to create a design. When we meet with a customer and we get all the details that they want in the project, it allows us to implement those into the software and generate a model, a design of the space that we send into our machinery. So it helps in reducing mistakes and simplifying the production process, but then really putting people into more important tasks that also help develop their skills and their income. I really like being able to create a workplace where people that are dedicated, that work hard, that our visions align, have a place where they feel comfortable and where they can develop their skills in the woodworking industry. Inspiration is something that is very important. You always have to excel to create better, make things better. That same concept applies to everything in life, and that really fulfills me. If I was to give advice to somebody, some Hispanic kid or immigrant that came, my advice would be to work hard, stay focused, persistent to your goals, stay true, and just work hard.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the 2023 Hardware Creative and Mental Health, founder of Foundations LLC, Fizzy Momene.
Being a Pacific Island mental health professional, there's not many of us. And to be able to relate and to be able to show them a different pathway of understanding, I think there needs to be more of us in the field. My father moved us all to BYU Provo, and he was able to attain his master's in counseling from there. And so it was a very big influence to me in the counseling side. I've been in the field for 22 years, and so I think having that background and experience has allowed me to meet people where they're at and to meet people from different walks of life and different ages. I pay attention to their story and I don't dictate the course of that session. Then they start to surface things. They start to share their story. That is success, is when a person allows me into that space. In that space, I'm able to support them, encourage them so that they have hope, that they can change. There is light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak. And I'm inspired to be the best therapist that I can be to accommodate not just those clients that I have right now, but future clients that I'll be working with. It's difficult in most cultures in regards to validating mental health. Even within my own culture, the Pacific Island culture, or Tongan Samoan, Hawaiian, Maori, and so forth and so on. It's a challenge to surface things, to talk about things. And so a lot of individuals contain that and are what I would call a walking movie. There are others that are Pacific Islander in my community that are therapists. And we are at the forefront of trying to normalize mental health. I don't feel worthy of any kind of award, to be honest, but my daughter said to me, "Dad, you're accepting this on behalf of the people that have supported you, that have helped you, that you're a part of." So I am grateful to be able to represent my people and the people that I serve.
Can we give a quick round of applause for those who prepared these drinks and hors d'oeuvres? Were they not incredible? Incredible. Really wonderful. Introducing the 2023 Hardware Creative and Hospitality Managing Partner of Sapa Investment Group and CEO of Dragonfly Wellness, Hong Nguyen.
Sapa is the main story, one family story of how we've been able to get over such tragedy so early on in our young life and be able to really band together and make sure that each other was taken care of. That's the thing that really resonates with a lot of people when they realize the story behind the Sapa family is a story about the American dream. The background on my family is we're refugees from Vietnam. Shortly after we arrived in Oakland, California, my father was killed and left my mom, 35, widowed with 7 children. She actually had a cousin living here in Utah, and he told her, "Come over here, check it out." And they opened up the very first pho restaurant here in Utah ever. We started Sapa Investment about 10 years ago. We're made up of 5 different companies. We have our hospitality arm that has our restaurants, bars, bakeries. We have a medical cannabis company, a commercial real estate company, construction company, and a nonprofit working in social justice and food equity. The name Sapa comes from a little town in northern part of Vietnam, and it's a melting pot of Chinese, Vietnamese, Mongolian culture, blending all the great things that different people from different backgrounds have to offer. How do we bring innovation to the forefront? When you go into restaurants, there's a million different sushi restaurants around. It's one of the most competitive business that you can be in restaurants. And what we decided when we opened up our brand of restaurants was more about how do we take care of the individual. It wasn't about profits first, it was about people first. And making sure that we're taking care of our staff so that our staff can go ahead and take care of customers coming in. It's not going to be a standard run-of-the-mill sushi restaurant that you're coming in. It's all very unique styles here. Whenever you're eating pho in any of our restaurants, it's my mom's recipe there. Us coming here as political refugees, looking for a new place, a new start, and being welcomed in such a way that we've been able to really give back to the community that welcomed us and embraced us and make it a little bit better in our opinion.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the 2023 Hardware Creative and Business and Development, founder of SK Hart Management LLC, Khosrow B. Sandani.
There is a poem in Persian culture which says, نام نیکوگر به بادت آدمی بهتر از آن بود آن سرای نیکو. It means that a good name, if it's remembered of you, is much better that you have a golden arch remaining of you as your legacy. I think that everything can be summarized in that. That your good name probably is the best thing for you. I was born and raised in Iran. I came to Utah in 1968. I came on the Greyhound bus. It was some place that I could feel comfortable and get a job and get busy and make a living and everything else. The culture of Utahns is that they're welcome to new immigrants. I'm a Muslim by faith. I was born a Muslim. So it became necessary for me, based on my earlier teaching and so on, to share some of my good fortune with others. SK Hart Management really was born out of SK Hart Engineering in 1980. I did consulting in environmental matters, mainly handling toxic and hazardous material. And eventually in 1993, I created what is known now as Senani Family Foundation. Our first project was a HIV orphanage operation in Romania. That was, at the time, Soviet Union was falling apart. This is almost 30 years ago. And since then, the Senani Family Foundation is very involved internationally pretty much, working with charitable organizations. We have had projects that we have done in Africa, in Philippines, just helping with drought or COVID or water projects and different things. Promoting kindness and stability and love and service is probably the biggest thing that you can do. What inspires me is what can be done for good and make somebody feel better. The situation becomes better. When you have a good name, through charity, through kindness, through love, anything that you do, I really truly believe that. Not only is good at that moment, but it can have huge consequences when you help somebody. You do it and you're gone, but the results and the consequences of that is hugely positive.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing local renowned poet and founder of U-Black, Utah Black Artists Collective, Winter Storm.
Good evening. How y'all doing? Okay, that's what I love to hear. I want to deliver this poem to you all. It is called Revolutionary Dream. I have a dream, said Dr. King. I have a dream became a revolutionary prayer, a generational mantra that we believe in on repeat. I have a dream. Even when we can't fathom how, I hear we shall overcome, replaying like our favorite song as a promise to ourselves. And we mean it. I know the day is near. Folks say not to live in fear, be brave, but don't get caught up in bravery. Dare to be the change. Dare to be revolutionary. And I'm catching on to more things because becoming the beloved community is so important to me. My beliefs, generational wealth, not conversational wealth. We are HOME, hopes of mending everything. Now it isn't just my poem. Call me sunshine on a rainy day. You can't always keep all the clouds away. My black joy just shines right through. A generational gift. Black joy is our beginning. We wear magic smiles that lights up darkness with resilience. It welcomes you in like an altar and says, come as you are with a genuine heart. Black joy is the message. I've heard for ages that black is strength, and I listened. I felt the connection, embodied the power, like my blood was finally free. Like I have a dream will one day transform into our reality. My modern day dream has been and always will be hope for every soul, that love dwells at one's core. A love that does not harm is all that we've ever asked for. A statement that I think deserves a second tour. Listen, my black joy has been and will remain hope that love dwells at one's core. It's all that we've ever asked for. So just watch as my black joy keeps shining through it all. Like Granny's weary voice that always says, baby, I'm fine. Like it hasn't always put itself on the line. No sugarcoating. Black joy finds the blessing in every lesson. So sweet. Black joy is precious. I have a dream that Dr. King is still dreaming for a more peaceful reality. I have a dream that Dr. King is still dreaming for a more peaceful reality. We are HOME. That's hopes of mending everything. We are his dream. We are his reality. We are revolutionary. So let us continue to rise together while becoming the beloved community. For we have a dream is a climb, and yes, we shall overcome now and every time. For we must find joy within radical self-healing. When we wake, we all deserve to keep breathing. We are the deeper meaning, the generational gift that just keeps on giving. Embedded in each one of us is persevering. So let us continue experiencing. Let us keep building. We are his dream. We are the reality. We are the hopes of mending everything. May we all continue dreaming. May we all continue breathing. And may we all continue believing in becoming the beloved community. I have a dream, but do you? Thank you.
That was incredible. Some of you may know, and some of you may not. My name is Bonner, my last name. So I come from a singing family, the Bonner family. And we were raised to sing and compete with one another. Singing competitions, have you guys seen American Idol? They got that from us. Except for ours was like tears and fights afterwards. And I was just thinking, Winter, you write something, we'll sing it. You can pick who does the solo. It was my idea, keep that in mind. Maybe we can do a collaboration. I like it. Okay, so we're gonna move on to our next award. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the 2023 Hardware Creative and Banking and Finance CEO of Ready Life and Chairman of the Board of Directors for Redemption Bank, Ashley Bell.
Jr.'s youngest daughter, Dr. Bernice King.
In 1968, when my father was assassinated, he delivered his last message at Mountaintop. He talked about a banking.
Over half a century of struggle and incremental progress later, we're making good on Daddy's call to bank care by creating new centers of opportunity for people of color.
I'm here because of legacy. I'm just honored to be a part of this endeavor to get this thing
Ashley Bell, the chairman and CEO of Redemption Holding Company.
Ashley Bell is an attorney. He is an investor, entrepreneur, businessman, multi-facet, multi-hyphenate. So can you give us a little bit of an exclusive what this announcement will be?
We're going to announce the first time in American history that a group of black investors are actually going to buy a white bank.
Come on now.
But what we're trying to do here is, first off, in the black community, we've seen everybody else come into our community and buy up everything.
Yeah.
We live in a world now where I believe that black wealth can be exported into other communities and buy other institutions. This bank that we're buying here in Salt Lake City is one, historic because we're buying it, but also because this is a state, the #1 state for banking. We believe that to reach every black person where they go to bed is going to take a digital bank, but not just a fintech, but a real bank, a real brick and mortar bank that can export opportunity to all over the country. We have to build a bank that you and me as black lawyers, that black business owners watching this, that black school teachers that are watching this, a bank for them. We deserve to have our own bank. So the bank that we're creating here, we're renaming, and that bank will be called Redemption for a reason.
And what is that reason?
With a little bit of grace and a little bit of mercy, there could always be redemption. That's something we have not had in the financial structures of this country. We've had no grace and no mercy every time we've been turned down, and that's been since the day we became free in this country. Freedmen's Bureau, I'll take you out there real quick. Freedmen's Bureau, everybody knows what that is. It was the first black bank created by the federal government. It purposefully was created so that free slaves could send their pennies in from sharecropping all across this country in hopes of doing the one thing that had never been done in American history, all around the world. Taking people that were capital, meaning that we were capital on somebody's balance sheet. We were an asset. And telling them that their journey to become a capitalist had to involve being a bank. So going from being capital to becoming capitalists had to have banking involved. But the one bank they gave us, they had a rule. Let them save their money, but it cannot give them a loan. And we have to ask ourselves, how many times will we beg and ask before we just decide to pool the resources, the innovation, the power, the understanding, the love that we have for each other and embody that in the institution for us? And that's what redemption is.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the 2023 Hardware Creative and Performing Arts, Principal Artist at Ballet West, Kathleen Addison.
I am the first principal Canadian-American Black ballerina at Ballet West, Ontario, where I'm from. There's so much culture. I'm West Indian, and there's tons of Jamaican and Trinidadian people in Ontario. So I grew up with tons of people from my Caribbean background around me, and I was dancing around the house all the time. And my parents knew that, okay, we have to put Kat in ballet. I want to say from the age of 9 years old, when I got into the National Ballet School of Canada, that's when I realized, oh, I would like to be a ballerina and I would like this career. There was a lot of commitment and sacrifices and summers that I would spend in ballet training schools. And there was a few in Canada, but I found there was more in the United States. Becoming a principal ballerina, it was hard. After school, I would train from 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock at night. So it became my focus. There was a lot of disadvantages of being a dancer of color, especially in the classical ballet world where there are not a lot of dancers of color. Now there are, and they're getting a lot more exposure. Representation is so important as human beings, but especially as a brown girl in a room. You will compare yourself and think, how do I get the aesthetic to look like that other dancer? I had to find that compassion, that inner confidence, and just making sure that my technique was very, very good. Whenever I walk away from that rehearsal, I want to make sure that I did my best. I have to be innovative within the structure of a movement, but I have to be authentic and I have to create something new of the character that I'm playing. For example, tons of other ballerinas have played Romeo and Juliet, but I have to make it my story of falling in love and the drama that goes with it. Why I dance is because I just love the feeling that I get when I'm on stage. I get lost in the ballet. I forget that I'm in front of an audience of thousands of people. Sometimes I forget all the things that I've achieved. And I hope that I inspire the next generation of dancers that look like me to know they can be successful and their dreams can come true.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. Yeah, it's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. And I'm feeling good. Fish in the sea, you know how I feel. River running free, you know how I feel. Blossoms on the tree, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. And I'm feeling good. Dragonflies out in the sun, you know what I mean, don't you know? Butterflies, I'm having fun, you know what I mean. Sleep and kiss when day is done, that's what I mean. And this whole world is a new world and a bold world for me. Oh, stars, when you shine, you know how I feel. Scents of the pine, you know how I feel. Oh, freedom is mine, and I know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. And I'm
Give it up one more time for that incredible number. You just watched Caitlin Addison, principal dancer, Andrea Denise, choreographer Josh Whitehead, and recording artist Casey Whitby. Really, really incredible. One more time. We had a lot of talent tonight, a lot of talented performances. I'm just thinking back to the first number. You guys remember that? The Crump number? Big Mijo? Stay away from my wife, Big Mijo. I'm so happy she's not here tonight. Stay away from my family. Okay? I don't want to see you ever again. Oh my goodness. Really incredible, incredible talent. We're gonna invite to the stage We're gonna invite to the stage, we'll move this out the way for you. All of our awardees tonight. We'll make sure we have enough space for them. No, you're fine. Let's scoot these chairs back a smidge. Can you push all the chairs back just a little bit? Okay. We'll call them up one at a time and give you the opportunity to recognize who they are. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming Stacy Bernard to the stage. Next, to the stage we have Mario Castillo, Casey Molini, Mario Castillo, Casey Molini, Hong Win, give it up for them, yes. Thank you, come on up. Khosrow Somnani. Ashley Bell. I don't know if you had enough time to catch your breath, but we have Kathleen Addison will join us as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'll now turn the time over to Sui Lang.
Wow, thank you so much, Molly. Let's hear from our 2023 Hardware Creative Collective honorees. I don't know about all of you, but I'm feeling good right now. And we are honored to have an opportunity to engage with each of our honorees. Congratulations, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us and share your creative talents with our community. So, my style in moderating these conversations is completely unscripted. No one has received questions beforehand. No one has prepared talking points. We're just going to hear it straight from the heart. Your response to just a discussion around your creative process and your story as creatives in our community. We're going to start with Stacy. Stacy, you have multiple titles. I don't even know what to call you anymore. She works for the Utah Jazz, running diversity there. She also runs a nonprofit around autism, spreading awareness there, as well as she's an elected official serving on a local school board. And one thing I have really admired about Stacy is I admire parents who are inspired by their children and their children's stories have guided their paths and their stories. So, Stacy, share a little bit more with us about your creative process. What has inspired all the amazing work that you've done?
Yeah, I mean, how many parents do we have in the room right now? And how many of us would give up everything to make the world better for our children, to leave a legacy of something better for our kids? So we would do that for any of our children, but when you throw in a diagnosis and a disability and the reality that the world is very scary for people like that, I think any parent would do that, which speaks to the point of also why I did run for school board, because I felt like that was a place where kids like my son slip through the cracks. And yeah, that's my process, changing the world in all the ways that I can.
Wow, so beautiful, so inspiring. I want to jump to Mario. So Mario and I just recently met through the Hardware Creative Collective convening. And what is inspiring about Mario is humility, hard work. A lot of our honorees have immigrant stories, migrating to the U.S., starting businesses. Tell us a little bit about your creative process. And I really love the work that he does. He takes people's visions for their homes and he brings them to life. And to see the joy in their eyes, how he has helped them create that love and community in their home, has really fueled his passion for the work that he does. So tell us a little bit about your creative process and what inspires you.
Good evening, everyone. First of all, I'd like to thank everybody. A little bit of the creative process on our end is what inspired me. Something that inspired me to begin my journey in business and serving people more than anything, providing something that is of me and our work environment. I take great joy in being able to serve people. And one way that we do that is by doing the work. We do a lot of residential projects, custom projects. We also do commercial projects, but we mostly like residential because we like the contact of being with people directly, trying to understand what they envision, what they want to convert their spaces into, and really put the effort into creating something beautiful that gives us personal satisfaction, but then also it gives them lots of joy for you. So, being in the industry for many years, I know that sometimes the residential market has suffered a little bit because of that, because everybody's after the money. They're trying to make the money, and they don't care about the people, and I think that's where we're a little bit different. We focus on the needs of the people, make sure that customers are satisfied, and we'll do anything that's required to get there and make them happy. So their joy becomes our joy.
Wow, thank you so much, Mario. We also want to invite our guests. So please keep your comments to us. We want to make sure that we give our honorees the respect that they deserve. They are here to share their creative talents with all of us, so please keep your voices down. This is gold right here. You have an opportunity to hear directly from our creatives, so please respect them in that way. I'm going to jump to Hong. Hong and I have become close friends, and you know when you immediately meet someone, you're like, that's my sister right there. That was me and Hong. Such an inspiring story, coming literally from, such tragic events that happened in your family had fueled the passion, inspiration, and fire in you and your siblings to pursue a career in entrepreneurship. What I really love about Hong is, oh my gosh, she's a go-getter. She's not only a leader in business, she's also pursuing a career in public policy, which we need more women in our legislature and more women of color serving in public office. So thank you, Hong, for putting your name in the hat. Tell us a little bit more about your story. What don't we know about Hong yet?
Oh gosh. So when we came here, when we first came to Salt Lake City, we grew up on the west side. Growing up on the west side, many of you know about redlining, what happened around the country with banking, where they drew that line that says, this is the area that we will not loan money to. On the west side, in Salt Lake City, on the west side of I-15 is where redlining happened. And growing up, I used to get bused up to East High, and I saw a vast difference in how life and quality of life and everything that we had access to on the east side versus the west side. It was astounding how different life was for people in this valley, depending on which side of the interstate you lived on. So that was a huge part for me growing up to really say, you know what, we can do better here. We should have better access to education, to healthcare, all of those things that matter to build a more prosperous, engaged community. So that was what I learned growing up, is just seeing the big difference. And now where we are with our family, what we're able to do. Me sitting up here today is not about my accomplishments. It's about my siblings. It's about the survival that we had to go into in order to get to where we are today. And being in this place now made me think, you know what? Policy matters. Going up there, making sure there's representation, diverse representation, a different voice matters in this community. So that's why I'm decided to throw my hat in the ring for the State House seat.
All for Utah, everyone. All for Utah. Woo! You just heard my vote. Everyone else is voting in this room. Moving on to our next honoree, I want to acknowledge the critical role that so many of our leaders play, not just in the public arena or the private sector, but the role they play in their families as well as in their Pacific Islander communities. FISI is one of those humble, kind of quiet, under the radar leaders that is doing significant, impactful work. I also want to acknowledge his family. His mother, Liahona, is here with us. Please raise your hand. We want to acknowledge Liahona this evening. FISI comes from a family of 11 children, and Liahona had this vision that one of the divine purposes of her life was to give life to all of these children, and they've all become so successful, and the work that they do is literally healing our communities. Again, I want to invite our guests to please keep your voices down so we can hear from our creatives. So with that said, FISI, you have a special place in my heart. I know you don't like being in the limelight like this, but it suits you well. Share us a little bit about your inspiration and the impact, because I know the work that you do doesn't just feed other people, it heals you as well. Share us a little bit about that.
Well, you've already acknowledged my mother, but that creative process came from being in a home where she nurtured us, 11 of us, as my dad worked 2 full-time jobs to make sure that we had food on the table and a roof over our heads. And so she also exposed us while living in the islands to music. And some may not know this, but my brothers and I have been singing for a very long time as well, and do a lot of that stuff in the community, the Moleni brothers. We know the Bonner family very well. Not tonight. But I love what I do. I come from a long line of navigators. The Pacific Islanders were some of the greatest seafarers of all time. And they did so without a sextant or a compass. They navigated these waters, or the Pacific, or the South Pacific, through the currents, the constellations, the stars, the seabirds, and were able to use the treacherous seas as their highways. And to me, that is where the origin of my creativity comes from. The many. Polynesia means the many. And I'm very grateful to be able to stand on their shoulders, to stand on my mother's shoulders, to stand on my sisters and my siblings' shoulders. In our family, and I need to acknowledge this, and not again to put myself, to promote myself, but in our family there are 11 of us that have our master's degrees, and one has a doctorate in law.
Wow, thank you so much for your investments in your children and in our community, literally healing our community. I want to jump to Khosrow Sebnani now, and I just met Khosrow this evening. I've been a big fan of yours for a long time. My role at Zions Bank has fostered a meaningful and productive relationship with the Salt Lake Chamber. And one thing that Salt Lake Chamber and Zions Bank are doing is investing in small businesses. And we offer a diversity and inclusion training program for small business owners, and it's sponsored by Zions Bank and the Sebnani Foundation. So when I saw Sebnani Foundation, I was like, I wonder if there is a connection. There absolutely is. Kaz is an industrialist. He is an engineer. He is an activist. He is a philanthropist. So many amazing things that this leader is doing in our community. And most importantly, which I would love to hear more about as well, is he's launching a One Kind Act a Day campaign. How powerful is that? So Kaz, would love to hear directly from you your inspiration for the work that you do in so many sectors, and then also the inspiration for the One Kind Act a Day campaign.
Thank you, Sulaine. It's an honor to be with you. It's my first time with you, as you mentioned. But it's not the first time for me to be in this venue. I was here when the architect, his name is Thomas Day, he was dreaming about this place and making the renovation and the changes and so on. And you all know this venue is one of the nicest places in town. You all can recognize that. I want to thank Sulaine and Zions Bank I've had the honor and privilege of knowing Mr. Scott Anderson, the CEO. You cannot hardly go to any charity organization or anything that is of value to the community without having the name of Mr. Scott Anderson be heard in. He's involved in just about everything that happens good in our community. So I really appreciate all what he does and what the bank does. The important thing that I want to share with you is been said that friends are the strangers that you haven't met yet. And I've met a lot of strangers today. So I have made a lot of friends here and we shook hands. And I want to really tell you about her restaurant. Her restaurant is one of the nicest places you can go to. And
Let's hear it, Mustafa.
Here's the problem. You have to call 2 days in advance. So that's the thing. You got to watch for that. Anyway, she's wonderful and we appreciate that. Yeah, thanks. Thank you. I just want to really very honestly appreciate the fact that I'm here with my family. I'm here with my dear wife, and I'm here with my son John and Rod and his boyfriend Tim. And we are all having a good time here, enjoying the place. And thank you for having us. It's an honor to be here. As for me, I have to tell you about my grandmother, the three people that were very instrumental in my life. My grandmother who passed away back in 2001, my mother, and more importantly, my wife, who's been putting up with me this year for 40 years. We've been married for 40 years. And what is really important is my success wasn't really my success, it's a success that the opportunity was given to me in America. I'm telling you, there's a lot of things that are wrong with America today, especially today. But America is great because America is good and would be better. I can assure you it would be better. We all are working on that and the things that are going to get, they will change. My involvement as a philanthropist started with foundation, as you mentioned, with an HIV orphanage in Romania. And we have been working on a number of projects around the world, but the most important one is the Maria Free Clinic that we provide. It started in 2004, so right now it's 19 years old. We provide healthcare to about 15,000 people annually. And in that process, we've been fortunate to have Zions Bank as our partner and a number of other people as our partners. We hardly get involved without Zions Bank being part of it. So the community of Utah has given me the ability to get where I am. I'm a nuclear engineer, and I own a company called EnviroCare, which I later on sold, became Energy Solution. You've heard of that probably. But it's my honor and pleasure to do the program of One Kind Act a Day. It's my legacy. I intend to have it endowed for $25 million forever to go and promote kindness in our community. And with the help of different religious organizations, Catholics, Mormons, Jews, Muslims, we will take that international. We are really looking forward and we hope that you join us. Go to our website, the Power of Kind, and you can join. And all we want from you is commitment that you do something good for somebody, anybody, from the family, friends, workers, whatever it is, do something good for the community. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I appreciate it.
Let's hear it for everyone. That is a powerful call to action for our community and will absolutely reap big dividends. Okay, I want to honor our live performances and performers this evening. I think all the women in the room are still processing Miho's solo. How about you? That was pretty dope. And Kathleen, you are such a beautiful, eloquent, beautiful and brilliant performer. And your creative seeds and just power sits at the intersection of so many different things. I love how you define your identity as a creative. So tell us a little bit about that and your creative process, because you're not just a performer, you also choreograph, just so talented. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, thank you, Sue, for honoring me. I feel like this is such a blessing to get that recognition.
Again, I want to invite our guests to keep your voices down, please. We want to hear what our creatives have to say.
So I have a really soft voice, so a quiet voice, I should say. Well, yes, like I was saying, thank you for wanting to honor me. I feel truly blessed for that. Well, my creative process it's hard because I pull from many things to be the artist that I am. As a classical ballerina, many times we're given steps in choreography and a way that we're supposed to do it. And then I'm supposed to take the initiative and make it authentic and make it my own through the structure of the movement. So a lot of times my creativity as a classical ballerina comes from myself. So I have to make it authentic so that as an audience member, you feel it and you can relate with me and connect with me. But at the same time, I have to stay within a structure of movements and steps. And then as a choreographer, a lot of times my inspiration or my creative process comes from the composer. As a newer choreographer, I try to be a little bit of an activist in finding composers of color. And I want to say about 2 years ago, I did a piece for the University of Utah called Joseph Chevalier du St. George. And actually, there's a movie coming out about this composer who was, during his time, famous, and he was of color, or yes, he was of color, and he was a violinist, a composer, and a fenceman. And through his time, he didn't get a lot of recognition for his work. So, and for me as a choreographer, I've tried to pull from his work to then create something new at this time to connect with, and also to amplify his work and to give recognition for what he does. So and then I also try to do community work within dance, as you see, so that people can realize that there's a lot of artists and classical ballerinas out there of color that need the exposure and the opportunity. So I pull from those three things to bring into my creative process so that it's all of me in there, and also that I'm connecting with the people around me.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing your creative talents with us this evening. We all felt that performance, and it was powerful, truly, truly powerful. Now, our final honoree, and part of the objective of this evening is to welcome the leadership of Redemption Bank into Utah's business community. We are truly honored to be graced with Ashley Bell, founder of Redemption Bank. And a little bit about Ashley, wow. I admire this man so much. My top 4 creatives in the world are number 1, Nelson Mandela, politics. Number 2, Bob Marley, music. Number 3, Jay-Z, business. Number 4, Dave Chappelle, comedy. And number 5, Ashley Bell, banking. So, what I really have admired about Ashley is, as a creative, when you get to the level of just simply trusting the process, right? And you relinquish control and allow whatever needs to happen. Ashley is a historian, he is a masterful storyteller, and he is an innovator. And when I define innovator, that means you're embarking upon something that has never been done before, right? So, all of these things encompass what Ashley and his executive team are doing through Redemption Bank, and we are honored to be Utahns, to be home to this new endeavor. So, with that said, Ashley, share a little bit about the inspiration for Redemption Bank. We saw a little bit in the video of the magnitude of this. This is not just Utah, this is a national, powerful, will probably have global impacts as well. And really turning the American economy on its head. Truly, truly historic. Ashley.
Thank you, Sue. Give her a round of applause, please, for everything she's done to put this together. want to recognize my team at Redemption really quickly. Zach, Jason, Wes, raise your hand really quickly. Thank y'all for being here today. You know, when she asked the question about what makes you creative or where's the juice come from, I truly believe that for every one of us, I don't know if you've ever lost a parent. I lost my mother about 6 years ago, and many of us have been there before. You know people that have lost parents. You know people that have parents that are sick. But I also believe that in our lives, many of us who live in purpose, when you find yourself being blessed continuously and you feel sometimes that you don't deserve the blessings, that you feel sometimes that you are getting all this success and things are working out, and you're like, why me, God? You sit back and you realize that you are truly, really just the answers to other people's prayers that have already gone on. They ran out of time. And before I flew here on Thursday, I was with my dear sister, and I want to tell you right now, this is the sexiest library, but this is a historical place now. Because every clip that you saw in my video was right here, actually. And Thursday, I was with my dear sister, the co-founder of this bank, Dr. Bernice King, the youngest daughter of Martin Luther King Jr., who walked through that door and stood here with me talking about this initiative. And I was with her Thursday because Thursday would have been the 96th birthday of her mother, Coretta Scott King. Give her a round of applause. And when I see what Bernice does to get inspiration, I saw that she talked about that we wouldn't have a Martin Luther King Jr. holiday if it wasn't for her mother carrying on that legacy. You wouldn't have a Martin Luther King Jr. drive right here in Salt Lake City if her mother wasn't traveling from city to city trying to keep the legacy alive. And as I sat at this commemoration for her mother's new monument, it's at the King Center, so if you're ever in Atlanta, go see it. I sat there at a table with Dr. King on one side, with the daughter of Medgar Evers on my left, and the daughter of Malcolm X on my right. And I saw daughters of martyrs. Daughters who were trying to find a way to extend the legacy of their parents. When the world mourned a leader in Martin Luther King Jr., my business partner, the co-founder of this bank, mourned her father. This was her dad. And so when she came to me and she said, Ashley, my father spoke of inseparable twins. And those inseparable twins were racial injustice and economic injustice that cannot be separated. You cannot have a conversation about racial reckoning in this country if you cannot have a conversation about economic reckoning. They cannot be separated. So when I find my inspiration is when I think about all of our mothers, our grandmothers, and our grandfathers who worked so hard and lived lives that we won't know much about, but we know that every day they work thinking about what we might be doing right now with the opportunity they gave their life to create. And for everybody in this space, there is our purpose. The prayers have been prayed, and all of us have the obligation to step into the blessings of the people who have gone on, who ran out of time, and while we have time, let's make the most of it.
It's my friend Ashley Bell, everybody. That's my friend right there. And did you guys hear what he just said? The future is female, right? We are starting to see a transition in leadership, and it is beautiful. It is a beautiful sight to see, and it happened right here in the harbor. Last question to all the creatives. I want to hear 3 words to describe your creative process. And let's start with Stacy.
The 3 words for my creative process would be grit, determination, and badassery.
Missy.
Seek, learn, and internalize.
Mine would be purpose, heart, and drive.
All the good stuff being said. Okay.
It's okay to repeat.
Mines are passion, preparation, and find opportunity.
Mario.
Mine would be work, respect, and perseverance.
Ashley.
The three things I think would have to be to love, to listen, and to laugh.
Vulnerability, commitment, and compassion.
Let's hear from our creators, everyone. You are host Molly. I know it's hard, everybody. I know it's hard to be quiet. You want to catch up with everybody. You have plenty of time to do that. So I'm going to turn the time back over to Molly.
Yes, thank you so much. Give it up one more time for our honorees. Thank you so much. Incredible, incredible. We're going to welcome to the stage Comcast executive, Daniva Knight. Daniva Knight.
Daniva.
And I actually just want to do a shout out for all my peers and colleagues in the room for Comcast. You could at least just raise your hand and say hello. And then also a special shout out to Alexis, who flew in from Houston. She's responsible for producing all of the videos you saw today. Alexis, if you could say hello. And really, after Ashley spoke, I don't know if I could say anything else after that. But we just are very honored to play a small role in creating space for this event today. I don't think there's anything like this that I've experienced in the state of Utah. And so this is, I hope we do this again. That's all, thank you.
We're already planning 2024. Scott Anderson, are you here yet? Okay, he may not have arrived yet.
So we will catch him. We'll catch him.
Yep.
Ceiling.
We'll just keep it rolling.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you everyone for joining us. Just wanted to give, just wanted to embarrass myself. Just wanted to give acknowledgements. Now, this night's production was a community production. I want to start by thanking the Hardware Creative Collective staff for this year, Janessa and all of your team members. Thank you so much for making this happen. I want to thank all of the food vendors, Taste of Louisiana, Saffron Valley, and Tandoori Taqueria. Let's hear it for the food, everyone. Let's hear it for the Hardware Bar, Ozzy and his team. Thank you so much for the amazing work that you have put together here. Also want to acknowledge our sponsors, the Christy Andrews Family Foundation, invested in this work. Our community partners, okay, amazing, amazing partners. Utah Arts Alliance, Jonathan and Jared, where are you? They may be, okay, up on the balcony. Thank you so much for your partnership. Truly been amazing to work with. Also want to thank the Utah Film Center, Russell Roots, Joshua, Saxton, Jeff, all of you, thank you for putting the production together. And then our sponsors, Comcast, Daniva Knight, her team, Alexis, brilliant job on the videos, and Zions Bank. I guess I represent the bank. I know I have a number of my colleagues here tonight. You can raise your hands for acknowledgement. Thank you for joining us. And let's get this party started. Before I leave you all, I just wanted to end by saying, the most advanced levels of diversity, equity, and inclusion are evident when organizations and communities capitalize on their ability to stimulate and cultivate creativity and innovation. And that is how Utah does business. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Amazing, thank you. Those collaborators that were named, if you guys can come to the stage for a photo, that's all collaborators, sponsors, community partners, performers.
Oh my gosh, Molly, hold up.
Yeah.
We need to acknowledge the most important person in this room tonight because it would not have happened without her. Nicole, where are you? Dosa, the HCC 2023 event director. Where are you? She's probably working right now. Thank you, Nicole. You did a phenomenal job. And we honor you. Okay, let's hear from Nicole. There you are. Thank you, Nicole, for acknowledging me.
stage for some photos. So that's performers and staff. Make your way to the front of the stage. Sponsors, we're gonna take a group picture. You can just come stand right in front. Any of the staff, the sponsors, partners.
Oh my gosh, this is what happens when I don't have a script. One final thing, I want to invite my mother up here to explain the symbolism and significance behind these beautiful leis that each of our honorees are wearing. So let's hear it for Kayla Pinogue. She's important because she birthed me.
Aloha, ahi, everyone. Aloha, ahi, everyone. I'd like to honor my husband there, Apalahama Pano. Anyway, leis, gift of the heart. Sewing a lei, whether from a petal or a flower, represents true love and the Lord for the giver and receiver. These leis this evening were woven with strands of ribbon, gold and burgundy. Gold representing generosity, compassion, and burgundy representing your ambition, your wealth, and your power. Your power is mighty. And that is your mana, your Hawaiian mana, your spiritual work. Last but not least, it represents your intelligence, all that who you are, your efficiency with completion, and especially your integrity. I'd like to say mahalo nui loa also to Kuipo Dalsinga, who created these magnificent leis. Mahalo nui loa, make aloha, much love and devotion to all of you. May you wear these with honor and respect to yourselves.
Okay, we'll take that photo if you are. Yeah, we can turn the music up. You guys can start mingling. And we'll just get this photo real quick.
Okay, we want to invite all of the sponsors, community partners, performers that participated to come to the front stage for a group photo.
Yeah, here we go.